Hey, I'm here talking about my book Quiet Confidence. Some of you guys submit questions in, so I'm going to answer them, and thank you to everyone who did submit questions. Gonna get right into it. So, first question. What is your book about? One of the hardest questions for an author to answer is, what is your book about? And to put it simply, Quiet Confidence is a book about my life. It's a memoir. So it's about growing up and friends I had and friends I have and family and being adopted and how all of that is intertwined within each other and how all of that really helps to make up who I am. It combines all of these aspects that maybe you would think of, maybe you wouldn't think of as a part of growing up. And I think that it really helps show that we all share very similar experiences in maybe different ways, but we all go through some of the same things when we think we're alone in going through these things. Losing friends or growing apart from someone and things like that. In the time, a lot of us think that that's something that when you're going through it, you're alone going through it. No one else knows what you're feeling and knows the troubles you're going through. But the fact is, that is not true. The fact is, a lot of us have gained and lost friends and have gone through the struggles. Question 2. Do you know anything about your birth parents? The answer to that would be no, I don't actually. If you've read the book or are going to get the book, this is a little spoiler, but I was found at a bus stop at 4 days old, so I don't know anything about them. There was nothing with me that gave a name or anything like that, so I don't know anything about them, and to find out is next to impossible. I won't say it's impossible, but it'd be very difficult too. Third question. Do you ever wonder if you have biological siblings? It's interesting because I actually hadn't thought much about it. Of course, anything like that, definitely you think about it at some point, but I guess I've never spent a ton of time wondering that. But it would be interesting to know if I do have a sister or brother somewhere that I don't know about, and obviously they don't know about me, or maybe they do, I don't know. Question 4. What was the most difficult part for you to write, and why? One of the most difficult parts for me to write was the chapter entitled 13. Chapter 13 tells the story of the Browning family and what happens when I was in 6th grade. I don't want to get too much into it on here, but if you do happen to read that section or have read it, you'll know that it's a very life-changing thing to go through. Some of the events in that chapter really changed me and have continued to affect me throughout life and throughout other things that have happened. I can still see moments of that and of myself in that time in things that happen now and throughout. So it's really something that sticks with you, and I think it was a very emotional experience for me. Question 5. With your book Quiet Confidence being a memoir, what was your most challenging chapter to write, and what was the easiest or most effortless one to write? Well, challenging. Again, chapter 13 was a very difficult and challenging section. Another one would have been learning to balance, which really focused on an aspect of being adopted into a usually daily event that you wouldn't necessarily consider and think of. You're challenging in the sense that it really talked about and focused on something that I don't talk about every day with someone, or even with my parents, like say, hey, I kind of felt like this or this, and it also it involves other people. And with a memoir, one of the most challenging parts is being honest and writing out names when you're talking about someone or anything like that, and to decide, do I name them, do I not name them, do I include it, do I not include it, Are they going to get upset with it? Are they not going to get upset with it? Is one of the most challenging parts. And this part happens to, it names names, it's very honest. But I also think that the book needed that honesty to make it more relatable and to really show that, this is what happens. This is something that happens. It touches on being in a restaurant with my family, and, I'm Asian. They're German, Welsh, etc. And we don't look the same. It is the obvious fact. We do not look the same. And this chapter touches on, not fitting in, not looking like your family, which no one else would really realize or think about. It talks about bringing, a friend to dinner on vacation, and then to dinner with my family, and, looking at that table, and I'm the one that stood out when they were the friends. It was a challenging chapter also because it took a lot of, guts to come out and discuss these feelings when no one knew that I had them, and I didn't want to make it seem like I was ungrateful for the amazing friends that I have and my family, and that's not the case at all. I love my friends, I love my family so much, but in that moment it was kind of difficult. The easiest and effortless chapters that I had was the chapter What Friends Are Made Of, which talks about my friendship with my best friend Marcus. It's the easiest chapter to write because there's been so many amazing moments with him that I wanted to capture, whether it were, just small things that one of us has said, or coming down to times that we've helped each other out, and just being able to capture those moments in this book. And in that chapter was something that I wanted to do to really show, who I was, who he was, and who we were, together as friends. We have very similar likes, so I was able to bring in these likes that brought us together more, such as, watching Glee and different musicals like Wicked and Spring Awakening, and we've introduced each other to a lot of different musicals, and I got him hooked on different bands. What helped us bond over our 5 was that since 4 of them are siblings and only one is, they're our best friend, it was really neat to see how someone can be so supportive and involved in their best friends' lives, and how you don't have to be related in any way to really love and care about someone else, and to support them throughout everything, and to encourage them and be there for them. And it was something that was really great to see for both of us. Plus, we just love their music and the energy they have on stage and everything else. So that was a bonus. Question 6. What does family mean to you? Your particular family and the idea in general. My particular family means the world to me. They're so supportive, and they've given me such an amazing opportunity that I know I wouldn't have had anywhere else but with them. And I'm grateful for everything they've ever done for me. And that's, my parents for always being so supportive, but also my extended family. Uncles, aunts, cousins, grandparents are all very supportive of one another and of all the kids. And as we're growing up, and then I get to watch some of my little cousins on my dad's side more so than my mom's side growing up and in school, and having all the experiences that I had, and really great being able to watch them grow up and evolve and change. I have a little cousin who used to not want to say a word to any of us, and now all she does is talk our ears off, and it's been such an experience getting to see them grow up and to think back to when I was their age and what I was doing and all of that. The idea of family, I think, is just a unit that supports you. Whether it's your biological parents and biological family, adoptive parents, adoptive family, whether there is a foster family, or a group of friends that you're really close with and would consider your family. I think they are all family and all your family, and it doesn't matter if you're blood related or not. If they're supporting you and you're supporting them and that's all that matters, then that's all that matters. Blood doesn't make a family. Being related really doesn't have to make a family. I think family is whoever is supporting you the most, whoever supports you in general, whoever you are also supporting and care about and love and want the best for, that's your family. I have friends that I consider to be my family, and they're just as important to me as my parents or my cousins or aunts and uncles. And that's the way it is. Question 7 is, what's the hardest thing you've dealt with in your life? One of the hardest things I've had to go through in life, or I don't know if it's the hardest, but it's definitely one of the hardest things, is the transition from middle school to high school, and now going from high school to college. And I know it probably doesn't seem like a big deal, but for me, it's more the friends aspect of it. I had a group of best friends in middle school, and then I decided to go to a different high school than where everyone else was going. It was a magnet school, so I auditioned to get into it, and I did, and I decided to go. My freshman year of high school was kind of a struggle for me, getting used to really not knowing anyone, not having many friends, and having to make all new friends, which I was terrible at, and I'm now finding that I'm still pretty terrible at it in college. Not the most outgoing person, as I'm sure is pretty obvious, but I just really struggled in, I guess, finding people I could talk to and trusted and wanted to get to know. And all throughout my freshman year of high school, I really wanted to go back to what school all my friends were at, but then I slowly started to realize they really didn't want to be friends with me that much anymore either, and I felt pretty alone, if I'm being honest. And it kind of forced me to, really try to make friends in high school I was at, which was Carver. It took pretty much the whole year until I kind of realized, what, this isn't so bad as I thought it was. These people are actually really cool, and I like them a lot, and I want to stay here and continue to grow as a writer, which I was there for writing, hence, wrote a book by the end of my senior year, go figure, and I really kind of took to it and made it what I wanted to. I took each day at a time and just really focused on, doing my best and being my best and letting friends kind of fall into place rather than really die hard trying to make friends, which was just not gonna work for me, unfortunately. And then going from high school to college, again, it's the same transition of really not knowing anyone. It's the biggest school I've ever been at, especially going from a small elementary school to a small middle school to a small high school. This is a very big adjustment, not knowing people. So again, it's kind of been the process of let's try to make friends and, keep up schoolwork and adjust being away from home. Well, I'm 15 minutes away from home, but adjust living somewhere else in dorms and living with a roommate and things like that. So, question 8. What has been your biggest inspiration in life? I don't know if it's a cliche answer, but really my parents have been the biggest inspiration in my life. They've always pushed me to do what I want to do and to go after, what I want to do. They've inspired me to try to be the best person that I can be and really try to give back to the community and just help out wherever I can. Definitely got that from them. They really inspired me to keep writing the book and to keep writing and anything else that I'm trying to do. They just really believe that I can do it, which helps to keep doing it. They definitely have inspired me to believe that no dream is too small if you want to put your heart into it, and it might take blood, sweat, and tears, but if that's what it takes, nothing comes easy. Final question. Who and what inspires you the most? So going off of the last question, who inspires me the most? Definitely my parents. My best friend, who is one of the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most hardworking and dedicated person I know. Going back to R5, they started playing shows to their family, trying to sell their family a ticket for $1, who didn't end up paying it, playing the red carpet at the AMAs, and who really care about their fans. I think their story is very inspiring. I'm also very inspired by Kurt Mega, who is a warbler on Glee. He's helped write a web series called Buffering, which just ended and was really amazing to see that from beginning to end and how it grew to what the finale was, and to see how everyone really pulled together to make that series. And I know he has a bunch of other amazing projects coming up that I'm very excited to see his work grow and to see how he grows as a writer and actor and everything else that he does. I'm inspired as well by the 5 Seconds of Summer and their story of how they became a band, and while I don't think I could ever become a band or join a band or whatever, I think that the amount of hard work and dedication that they've put into their band is inspiring and amazing, and they're such hard workers while being complete dorks. I think not losing that kind of playful side and dorky side is really important when you have so much hard work going on. You want to be able to keep your sense of humor and lightheartedness and